Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Jan Josephson, sitting here together with Misiu.
Hello.
As some of you know, there are a lot of things within OP5 Monitor that might not always be obvious first time or even if you've sat and worked in the system for some time. And so the format that we're doing here is really focusing on things that you can modify and optimize at the end of the day, the OP5 system to save you time and to make it more clear in different ways of using it. We're going to do like a 30-minute talk here, do everything in the demo system. And for this first session, the story here is that we are today a Windows sysadmins. And I want to optimize the usage of OP5 Monitor based upon the fact that I'm solely interested in using in understanding how my Windows servers and close nearby neighbors to that environment are coping, and if there's a problem or if I detect something, I want to be able to quickly see it, in a dashboard, etc. So. Having said that, so what we're going to use in practical terms is that we're going to use features and things in the systems like filters, customizing filters. We're going to use that to visualize, and then also we're going to use that to populate a sort of Windows-centric sysadmin dashboard. So with that said, why don't we get started, Misiu?
Yeah, let's take it away. I'll be showing you all this in our public demo environment. So it's fully reachable since it's public, and you can reach it on demo.op5.com. So you can play around and pretty much do what we've done or will do in this vlog. So as you mentioned, John, let's pretty much base the entire story being from a Windows perspective, a Windows sysadmin perspective.
Right.
So let's jump off to our host overview where we see all our hosts.
Yeah, because the first thing I want to do, right, is to find basically the what are the specific servers in this case or hosts.
That's correct.
That I want to focus on. So let's start up there.
Yeah, and since we have a lot in our demo environment, I think we're monitoring 88 servers in total here. We probably want to figure out which ones we should extract from here. So we have a couple of servers here that are very Windows specific. I would say that, let's see, we should have a change server. There it is.
Yeah.
So if one a change server, we have two SQL servers. So we'll grab those two. And then we should also have a...
Things further up, isn't it? If we're looking for the domain controller, right? That we want to...
That's correct. There they are. So the domain controllers, the SQL servers, and the exchange server. So let's create a filter that pretty much filters out these type of servers in this particular view. So on the top right corner, you have the icon that is pretty much the show/edit text filter. And if I bring this up, you see a query being shown here. So this query represents what we see in the background. So again, we want to filter out the relevant servers. So let's create a query here that filters those out. Add a role. And as you see, as I build this filter in the background, it's being updated in real time. But since we haven't finished yet, we'll continue. So in this particular dropdown, you can pretty much choose what you would like to base your filter on. So in our case, we'll base our filter on the name column, since we want to filter out based on the name. So we have the domain controllers, the change, and SQL servers. So let's start off with the SQL servers, and they are MS SQL Server 1 and 2. So let's find name in this list. I'll just type name. And here I can choose how I would like to match my search filter here. So I'll just go matching with regular special and type out MS SQL. So we have those two, and let's move on and filter out. We'll do the very same here, and we'll go name again. Matching regular expressions, and then we'll go exchange. Right. So this is the graphical way of doing it.
Yeah, you can see, I can see that the actual syntax is actually being built up here. So
exactly.
What is that? Is that our own language? Or?
It's our own language, but it is very familiar to, say, SQL.
Okay, so if you know your SQL syntax, then You could
pretty much you can see the difference here also. So since it's very clear here, so I'll just go name, and then let's see. Since I'm not that familiar with Mac, I'll actually just copy paste that one and go name equals to, and then we have the domain controller. There we go. So we have the domain controller, the Exchange server, and the SQL server. Exactly what we wanted.
Okay.
So we can basically see the filter being built up visually here also. So what we'll do here is that we'll save this filter and we'll name it, say, Windows Servers. And there is a box here that's called Make Global. So if you take this in, you can actually share this filter amongst other users in OP5 Monitor. But since this is more of a private filter that only I should see, now I'll just go save filter.
Can I ask you a question there?
Sure.
Because I'm sort of skipping a little bit here, but we are going to use this filter for later creating a dashboard visualization.
That's correct.
So, and within the dashboard, then I can also, of course, create my own dashboard, and I can share it with other groups or individuals that have access to the OP5 system. So this is just a question. But I think I can know the answer to it also. If I haven't made this global, so it's a private filter, then I cannot obviously share my dashboard, right?
Well, you can share your dashboard using this filter, although the widget showing that specific filter that's not global will not work for those you've shared the dashboard to. I can actually highlight that later on.
Okay, yeah, because it's just, if I know I'm building something that I want to share for a bigger group, then it's just, you might need to put the global in there. But we'll get back to
catch. We'll cover that too.
Okay.
So we've built our filter here. We've saved the filter, and just as a highlight, I usually refresh after I have saved my filter, since once you refresh, the filter will be visible under hosts and then under Windows servers.
Okay.
So if you just jump back to, say, the overall view, all hosts, where we started off, I can then jump back to the Windows servers filter.
Right. And just a comment there as well, I think it's also, there are a lot of views actually in most of the views in OP5 are built upon this filter technology, right? So whenever there's like an icon up here, you can actually press it and you can modify it and save it, again, globally or personally.
Correct. So if you jump away to, say, this icon on the very top, that's always included, you can see the filter being built up, basically being built in the URI or URL, but you can also see it under the text or show edit text filter. So basically this represents the view behind the icons that we clicked on.
Right.
So it's just quite good to know, because then you get an understanding of how views are being built in OP5.
Yeah, especially you can modify them for your own purpose.
Correct.
And so I'm stopping that.
Of course, no worries.
But if you so we have this view now under here, and under here. Me personally, I have a problem sometimes, because going through these trees, it just takes time.
Yeah.
So can I put it somewhere up here instead? Because there's a quick link up there that.
Yeah, sure. We have the manage quick bar. So basically, I can say, if I just jump to the Windows service filter.
Right.
So that builds a link for me to use. So in this manage quick bar, I can just press manage quick bar, and here I can add a link that will show up an icon. So URI, which is the URL. So I'll just copy it. I'll go back, misclick that one. So in the manage quick bar, you can just copy paste the link. I'll copy paste that one. I paste it to URI, and I give it a title, say Windows servers.
Right.
And I want the link to open in this window or a new window.
Okay.
And I'll choose an icon. So let's take the OP5 logo, for example.
Okay.
And I'll press save. So that pretty much creates a quick link for me to click on.
Okay.
So I just jump between views.
Right.
So if we go back a bit, we've saved the filter. It shows up under hosts. So we see the Windows service filter.
Yeah.
And there's a thing I would like to highlight here. we usually internally, I know that we tend to tag our devices with a specific tag. For example, it could be, say, a specific SLA or location or data center.
Right.
So we have something in OP5 Monitor called custom variables. And it's pretty much tagging. So you can tag a device with a key and a value.
Okay.
So, for example, say I would like to tag the MySQL Server 1 and Exchange Server with a location. Say it could be in which data center these servers resides in.
Yeah. Because the MS SQL is out of the Frankfurt data center, right?
Correct, right. And the Exchange one is in the Stockholm data center. Okay. So once I will show you how to tag these devices, but once I tag them, I can expose where they are located in a custom column. Okay. Since the columns can be modified, meaning you can exclude or include your own custom columns. So that's a bit of the beauty with the user interfaces. Quite dynamic, I would say.
Yeah.
So let's configure the MS SQL Server 1. We'll scroll down, and we have add custom variable. So I'll add a variable called data center, and then with a value, say, Frankfurt. And here I'll press submit to save changes. And I'll go back, actually, since we created a quick link, I'll get back to that. And this brings up the filter view. So I'll also modify the Exchange server. So I'll configure that one and add a very same custom variable, but with a different value. I'll add data center, and we'll type out Stockholm here. Submit. And here we'll just make sure to save our changes. Let's see what we're saving. Made some changes. That's correct. So now we have to tag the Exchange server and the MS SQL Server 1 with the data centers. And now we would like to expose that value in a column. So this is more of a hidden feature, I would say. Not many know of this, but you can go under My Account. And under My Account, if you scroll down a bit, you have columns in ListView. So this called table hosts represents the table, the host view you're looking at. Okay. So you have the default value defined here. And to get a more detailed description of what you can input here, we have a knowledge base article we've published. So I can just press read more here, which brings me to the documentation pretty much for this specific section. So if I scroll down a bit, we can see the syntax. So we had default predefined as a standard value, but we would like to expose that tag or custom variable we added. So if you scroll down a bit, you should be able to see a section called using custom variables. So we see default, and in this documentation, we've added another value here, so which is basically section equals to custom variable dot section. Yeah. So we'll use that. And the syntax is pretty much like this. So we'll go comma that data center equals to custom underscore variables dot data center in capital, since that's a custom variable key.
And always have to be capital, right?
Always capital.
It doesn't work otherwise.
Nope. So we'll save that change. There we go. And let's jump back to our filter we created, Windows servers.
Right.
So there we go. So you can see on the very right side here that we expose those values now in the list view.
Yeah. Now, and this is also just a clarification. Obviously, I mean, now we're doing a lot of manual hacking here. We're adding stuff manually, etc.
Correct.
But so I would say a fair point to this is also that, I mean, anything that you do add or you want to, in the custom variables, we support over the API. So I would say a lot of our customers would have, either they would have, CMDBs or inventory management systems or, whatever databases where they have the sources for this data, and then use the API to populate, to import, export stuff on the fly. So, but it's good to know that if you are having that kind of setup, then obviously you need to add the variables, the custom variables, but then use the API to
pretty much automate that process.
Yeah, to automate this process.
Correct.
Right. So, right. So, okay. So now we have that. Now,
so one one thing we can do with this now is that we can actually visualize this information using dashboards.
Before we do that, I'd like to. So you've added the data center, but can you also subtract the information from here? Because there's a lot of information.
Yeah, of course.
One of the things that I sometimes.
Of course. So we have the columns: name, alias, last check, duration.
Yeah.
So say, for example, we'd like to exclude the duration column.
Right.
So let's go back to the My Account. And under My Account, we have the table host section again. Yeah. So here we'll just add comma minus duration.
Okay. So that was it.
That was it. Okay. So pretty much that means that exclude the column name duration.
Right.
So if we go back to our view, we should see the duration column excluded. There we go. So it is excluded.
And also, I mean, you can read a lot more about this, how to use these columns and how to, but obviously you can actually insert here. You can insert things like action buttons, color, differentiated colors based upon status. If you want to have a quick button in this view where you say restart service or whatever, that's all doable, from the customization that we were looking at.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen many use this, for example, to link to a knowledge base with the dynamic variables coming from these custom variables.
Right.
You can also insert the host names. You can basically build up a link that you can click on, a pressable link that is dynamically built based on variables in OP5. It could be the IP address, host name, or group the devices, and for example.
Okay.
So
cool.
So let's go on to the dashboards. So we'll create a new dashboard from scratch here.
Right.
And we'll name this dashboard, say, Windows Servers Dashboard. We'll choose layout looks good. Save it. And with this new dashboard, we'll have to add some widgets. So we'll go on and add some big number widgets. I personally like these widgets a lot. So this is the standard look and feel of the big number widget. So we can configure this to show Windows Server specific numbers or information.
Okay.
So let's edit this widget. We'll add a custom title. So the title will be presented on top here. So let's say Windows Servers. I'll change the refresh rate if we'd like to. So content from filter.
What can I choose from there? If I don't want to choose it, now we're choosing filter. So so you can
also choose specific host or specific service.
Okay.
But since we have multiple hosts hidden behind the filter, we'll use the filter. Okay. So underneath show filter, you have all the saved filters. So we should be able to find our Windows servers filter
right there.
There we go. And then show filter, and then with selection OK host, since we want to see how many hosts are up or down with this specific filter. So I can choose fraction or count. I'll go with fraction. And let's start off with the basic configuration. I'll save that.
Yeah.
And that brings up 5 out of 5.
Okay. So so take me back to that configuration side, because I mean we're using what we're using here is actually we are basing the color of the actual widget on the thresholds, right?
Correct.
So if there was 4 out of 5, it means X, and 3 out of 5 means whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
So you can also show it as a count if you'd like to, and that would look like this. So instead out of, you would see is a number.
Yeah, just number 5. Okay.
So let's move on and switch that back to fraction.
Right.
So first see the total.
Okay, so that's basically telling me that I've got 5 servers. And they're all right now operational in some sort. But that's not really what that's not telling the truth, right? Because I know that there are problems there.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to see now is give me, what I'd like to see, already from the filtered viewpoint, I want to see specific issues that are currently, services that are not operating correctly in these particular servers.
Yeah. And that's actually done with filters.
Right.
So let's create a filter for that, meaning that we would like to see ongoing issues on these devices on a service level. So we'll jump back to monitor, services. We'll start off with all services. So let's create a filter for this. So first, we would like to filter out all the hosts mean the MS SQL servers, the Exchange, and domain controllers. So let's add or group. Add a rule. And in this dropdown, you will see host.name. So pretty much as the first filter we created, but this is on the service side. Let's go host.name, matching radio expression, MS SQL. Let's add a second one.
Yeah.
Host.name. And we'll go Exchange. Now, since we have the query here, we'll just copy paste to add the domain controller also instead of doing it manually using the graphical interface. So let's do it like that. And then paste that. And change the last one to domain controller.
Right.
There we go. So basically what we see in this view now is that all services related to these device types that are of our interest, being the Windows servers.
Yeah.
You can see all the Exchange servers, and
we can also see that there is a problem here.
Exactly.
So I was right. My hunch was right.
So now we would like to filter out those services that has actually ongoing issues.
Right.
So let's add a new section to our filter, which is add and group. We'll add a row, and we'll base this one on state.
Okay.
So let's find state in this list. And we'll say if the state is greater than 0. And this pretty much means that if the state is greater than OK, meaning either warning, which is 1, or critical 2, or 3 unknown, then we should see it in the list. So pretty much hide everything that's not OK.
Okay.
So let's see here. That brings up the ongoing issues.
Yeah.
So let's save this filter. We'll name it, say, Windows Service Problems.
Right.
So let's jump back to our dashboard now. And we'll add a new big number widget. Let's configure this one to use our filter. So we'll give it a title saying Windows Service Problems.
I think actually, if you don't put any custom title in there, it should take the
filter name.
The filter name.
That's right. Yeah. Just leave it empty. So here we'll find the Windows Service Problems, and with selection, we'll choose this very same filter. So, and here, we probably would like to see a count.
Okay.
And let's remove the color widget based on thresholds, since basically what we'd like to see is a big number describing, okay, how many ongoing issues do we have? And if it's, it should be 0.
Right.
This should be empty.
Okay.
Perfect world.
And it's not.
It's not. So we have 12 ongoing issues.
Right.
So if I click the 12, it will bring me to the
12
list of issues.
Okay. But as I don't want to click that much, I want to have this. I want to see this. This is a dashboard, so I don't want to need to click. I want to have it on the big screen. So can we have the detailed view of these 12 problems displayed as well?
Sure.
In here?
I would probably solve that with the ListView widget. So pretty much what the ListView widget is pretty much this.
Okay.
A list of all the ongoing issues. So we'll add that widget. So let's go to Dashboard Options. We'll add the widget called ListView. So there it is. So the standard behavior of this widget is that it lists all the hosts. So this is the query language that we've messed around with earlier.
Yeah.
So what we would like to do here is that pretty much reuse what we see in this view. So as I mentioned earlier, it builds on URL, but also builds the filter behind the text filter icon. So let's copy paste the filter we built earlier. We'll copy that one.
Okay.
Let's jump back to our dashboard and just paste it to the query section. And let's give it custom titles such as Windows Service Problems. So let's go like that.
Okay.
And we'll save it. So this brings up these 12 issues we've seen earlier.
Right, but it's
much
a bit
behind
cramped.
the number. Yeah, it's a bit cramped. So let's move around a bit. Let's do it like this. Place that widget on the top here. And this specific widget, let's drop it there. There
All
we
right.
go.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
Looks nice.
that looks better. Yes. Yes. Now, now, if you actually look here, you can't really see. I'm thinking about if because none of these issues are acknowledged, right?
Correct.
So to actually take this a step further, you would want to have a visualization, maybe as a big widget, where you say, okay, we've got 12 problems, but 6 of them are actually being worked on right now. We don't have to do that now, but I'm just taking it.
You can take it one step further, also. Of
Right.
course. I mean, with the text filter, you can filter out saying, "Give me a list of all ongoing issues
Right.
that are not acknowledged," meaning
Right.
not being currently handled. And
Right.
of course, that's easily done by the text filters.
Okay. Cool. Now, let's take this another practical example, because as we're using the demo system and as we're actually sitting in the office, I know for sure that we have actually some issues here that has very little to do with our Windows servers, but a lot to do with our Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And it's just for my own peace of mind that sometimes users comes running and say it's a really slow response time, etc. And many times it has very little to do with the application server, but it has a lot to do, in our particular, with our Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, just for my own personal feeling, can you just add in a little bit of info on our Wi-Fi status here as well?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's just, I know that it's not
fully working. Put it that way.
It's not always It's just easy to. If I have that information in front of me, then I can make it easier on myself if I really need to do something.
Sure. And again, this would be the ListView. So let's add a ListView widget. And let's configure this ListView widget to show our wireless access points. And
Okay.
they're actually called wireless access points. So in the system. So let's name this in the title,
Wireless
say
AP.
wireless AP.
Yeah.
And this is the query. And since I'm familiar with it a bit, I'll go. Let's see if I can figure out the MAC. There we go. So I can filter out saying, give me all hosts with a name matching wireless access something.
Right.
And I'll save that. There they are. So let's make this look a bit nicer. Let's place it top of the Windows service problems. There you go.
All right. And of course, I can go into this view, edit the filter, show me only problems. I mean, do exactly the same what we've done.
Exactly.
But and I can actually take that filter and put it into a big number widget instead.
Correct.
So it's just a different way of displaying that. Cool. Right. So, and now we've had this, and just to finish up, I mean, we are satisfied. This is my dashboard right now.
That's correct.
So, if you just want to take 2 seconds here, because we've still got got a few minutes here. So, if you can just show me a little bit, if I want to, why don't you share it with me?
Sure.
Because I'm not at your office, so I'm in a different office.
All dashboards can be shared with
Right.
either a group of users or individual users. So
Okay.
underneath dashboard options, you have the option to share this dashboard. So if you press that, you can choose to share this dashboard with a group or a specific user.
Yeah.
And since you want to see this dashboard, I'll find you. Oh, you're not in the system. So
Yeah, whatever.
but let's share to the, say, admins group. And there we go. So we've shared this dashboard with all users that belongs to the admin group.
Right. Which is quite good, actually. And then obviously, you shared it now with a read-only access. So, you're still in the control. If I am the Windows headmaster of the company, then I can share information. I can visualize it. We're looking at the same information, but I control
What others see.
And what is being shared, etc. So
A good pointer, because if you share this dashboard to a set of users or a specific user, this dashboard will be only read-only. So they cannot drag and drop these widgets as we've done. I mean, it's pretty much locked
Right.
as it's in read-only mode. But as I administrate this dashboard, I can pretty much change what they see
Right. So I think we'll take it to stop there now.
Okay.
We're getting close to our 30 minutes, and we hope that we've been able to show you a few tips and tricks in the system, and that you will be able to use it in your everyday operation. And we appreciate if you have ideas, if you want to shoot some ideas on things that you want us to drill down into. That's highly appreciated. So with that said, thank you, Misiu.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And everyone, have a good day. Cheers. Bye.
Take care. Bye.